Good morning, FYI family, and welcome to our broadcast. How are you folks doing out there today? From the many places, no doubt, you guys are joining us from. We hope that each and every one of you, we hope that you're good, we hope that you're well on this Wednesday, the 10th day of June. Great to have all of you here with us, joining us from Guyana, joining us from the diaspora. Truly, truly privileged to have each and every one of you join us today. Good to see you guys there on the live. You all know how we see it. That's how we see it, as a matter of fact. We on the live. Good to see you folks. Seeing the comments rolling in. Pretty Militia. First up. Pretty Militia on the blue app. You have it correct? Dan Abrams is here as well. Shelly DeRitter, all my favorite people. Shelly. Good to have you here with us as well. Good to have you here, Shelly. Pretty Militia on the blue app. Alistair Gill. Edward Brooms. Alistair and Edward are joining us on the red app. You gotta watch them. Rox Ricardo on the red app as well. But folks, happy to see all of you here with us. Yet another day. We outside, we out front. Great to have each and every one of you here with us, folks. We just dotting our I's and crossing our T's at this point. And truly, truly great to have all of you join us today, have all of you here with us. Good to have you here. Shireen Hohenkirk, I see you there, Shireen. I see you there. Vanessa Ward Dean is here. And Benjamin Bristol. Helen Collins is here too. Helen, how are you doing? Marcel Daniels is here. Anton Nicholson, Sean of Fortune. Maxine Fredericks, Alexis Charmley Richmond is here too. Karen Black, Brenda Moore and Ingrid Crawford. Debbie Collins, Gail Allicock, Charlotte Blackman. Good to have each and every one of you on the live this morning. It's a privilege. Keyboard Hope is here too. Camille Cox, good morning to you. Region 6 in the house today. You know, I'm happy to have folks at home and abroad. Camille joining us from the Independent Republic of Region 6. Good to have you folks. Today, we are interring the brother of Senior Council Member of Parliament, Roysdale Ford. We are interring his brother, one of his brothers. And last evening, we were at the wake. We were at the wake for Roysdale's brother, and I met another brother of his who lives in Kenya. He said he himself and wife, they've been living there for the last 20 odd years. Living all the way out there in Kenya, you Alistair Trotman, Osmond King. And they said they watch us day and night there. They know everything that happens in FYI, everything that happens in the ring. All the way in Kenya. Folks are watching us. Guyanese different. Guyanese, I want y'all the day left here. The day I leave here, I throw a stone behind me, a little salt, and that's it, you know. I want to read your newspaper. I want to see y'all on television. I got on some safari there in Kenya. Don't think I can be here worrying. And Anthony Paris doing and Dolly Anderson doing. I ain't got worry what Camille Cox doing. I ain't going so far for one. But we happy for all the folks who watch us. Yesterday they took over UG. Yesterday they took over the University of Guyana campus. That's what they did. That is the effect of their actions. That's precisely what they did. Increase the number of on UG's council as the governing body. That's UG's board. To give themselves more than the university themselves have the advantage of. Right? I'm telling you all what they did. We're not making this stuff up. That's precisely what they did. And by doing that, They got control of UG board. It's a wicked set of people. Wicked, wicked set of people. And we left the assembly, the National Assembly, yesterday morning at 5 o'clock. Folks, I love you, but I couldn't make it for the morning show. I came home, got some rest, got up, got out to start working on the morning program. I think I slept an hour. And sitting down to get the program sorted out, I was like, you all know how it goes at our age. Thanks, Camille. Camille says, great presentation. Thanks very much, Camille. You all at our age, you got to get a little rest when you got to take the little rest when you get it. You got to take the little rest. Here's some of what I said in the National Assembly the afternoon before into yesterday morning. We went into Parliament about 2 o'clock the previous day, Monday, got out at 5 a.m. yesterday morning. Y'all think it's easy now? Take a look and listen. I'm going to come back to the Honorable Minister's order. Because we have said, and I think the next Minister of Education has articulated this, and I don't want to go back and tread the territory, about the pitfalls, about the control freakism that comes with increasing these numbers, that puts the government squarely in control, because we have already had foreshadowings of this in the past. When Freddie had its sanity and wrote in 2020 that seminal paper, the Honorable Gentleman Freddie wrote a seminal paper on racism, the PPP, and all of that. And Freddie, in that university setting, was hounded by the PPP and his acolytes. And they were responsible for his dismissal from the University of Guyana. Freddie took that matter to an ombudsman who confirmed that. And imagine if they did not have total control as yet. It comes now to what the Honorable Member Greta McDonald says. They can want to dictate who get an honorary PhD. They can now want to get one from a proper university, because they got one from a no-name unaccredited one. Which friend and family gets into what programs, or who don't get in to the program? Which lecturer saying too much publicly and must be dismissed from the university? This has already happened in the past when people were bowing to pressure. And this is where they're coming to again. The PPP wants to exercise control freakism over the University of Guyana. And there has been tremendous uncertainty and vacillations as they pursue this. UG has an online program that has started a little while now. It's a head of goal. And the PPP loves UG so much, they create a parallel online program, rivaling UG in the budget for the program. And they love UG so much. This love looks strange. Strange love. The budget for the online program rivaling the entire university. And I've been talking predominantly about Turkine campus. I ain't touched Tane and John as yet. But not only did they create Goal, Guyana Online Academy of Learning, and I saw the Honorable Member Manikchan made the allusion to one student calling her this morning, using that as a justification to change the composition of the entire council. Goal has had its own issues as well. People went to classes The folks that are not registered in that course, that university, it started late. You got some degree programs for 2.5 years, all manner of things. A lot of complaints has come. Now, if Goal and UG got a budget rivaling each other, who is the council for Goal? Who makes up the council for Goal? Who is the council for Goal? Huh? Who is the council? Who is the governing body? What are their statutes? And Goal budget rivaling UG. And you remember, Mr. Ramson says, because of these investments, they need more people. Well, I not assume they can make some more investments in Goal as well. But how come Goal is so secretive? Like the administration of men on a mission. You don't know who are these people. Yeah. That's what I said yesterday. Yesterday, the National Assembly. That allusion to what the same Freddie wrote. That was in 2010. I was so excited. Got the year wrong. That was 2010. Freddie wrote a fantastic paper about the PPP and ideological racism, comparing presidencies. Fantastic paper. Systematically outlined how the PPP went about removing Afro-Guyanese from the public sector, bringing in friends, family, and favorites. Is that now it's that? You know, I saw my hat on the desk here. Connecticut. A wonderful gentleman there in Connecticut gifted me this hat. Lovely gentleman who is retired now, spends a lot of his time traveling and enjoying life. Yeah. When I get to that age and stage, that's why he won. You don't think I won that 17th out here saying, let's fight? Yeah. You better check yourself. Good morning, folks. Good morning, folks. Good morning to each and every one of you. Maxine and Beryl and Yvonne, Jolly and Linda. You ever wake up good? Linda, Neville Cedar, Wayne and Yvonne, Maxine, Osmond Hodge, Gwen Anderson. You ever wake up good? You know it will knock you. It's which one of the birds gnawing at you. You ever wake up good? Good, you wake up. That didn't happen to you? Tracy? Asha? You ever wake up good? You see, when you wake up in this country, you gotta prepare for anything, you know. Natasha Wells, Joanna Green, you gotta prepare for anything. I always remember sermon by T.D. Jakes. He said one call could change your life. And in another instance, one fall, and one call, F and C. You wake up good. You haven't stopped minding your business. Early English, Debbie Collins, Melanie Adams. Thanks for your very kind words there, Erwin Don Cook, about a fiery presentation. Y'all look where y'all going today, right? Don't drive and text in. Mind your own business a little bit, some point in the day. Donna George, Tracy Clark. Tracy, the true Guyanese. Hear what Tracy said. Blue Zoom. You wake up good in this country. Good, you wake up. What you are going today? That's the moral of the story. Alright? Just watch me going. Sometimes that's how it's happened. You get up good. Will you ever wake up good? And then it's some nonsense. to wreck you up. You know, it's your spouse or some person from a political party coming in your lane. You get up good. We don't give you 2 or 15. I know what you're all waiting for. Folks, a very good morning to all of you as we get into it. Dan Abrams one is wrong there. Right? Wrong. Margaret Nelson. Thank you, Margaret. Margaret, wake up to Sweet Talk. We know best arguments from MP Sherry Duncan yesterday. Thank you so much. Anthony Parrott, so look where we're going today a little bit. Let me mind your own business a little bit today so we keep going in the right direction. First 15, folks. I think we're starting in the region. Beryl made landfall in Texas. Hurricane Beryl. And I saw it uprooted some trees, fling some trees into houses like nothing. And they said, this is the aftermath of the hurricane. This is not the hurricane hitting Texas. You understand now why the African proverb says, we're a global village? Imagine, Hurricane Beryl touched Trinidad and in Texas right now. Natural disasters and got borders necessarily, you know. You just wake up one day, good. Then it's some trouble. 3 men shot to death in Tobago, and Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, he says it's calls for aggression. Remember when Kamala said, light them up? Them boys come in your house, intend to do damage to life, limb, and property. Light them up, she said. You know what I mean on the streets. Light them up. 3 men shot to death in Tobago quite recently. And of course, let me tell you this. Tobago had about 1-2 road accidents, and the folks there ready to call a state of emergency, you know. For the last few years, he had about 4 or 5 road accidents. And those folks, they are ready to call for a state of emergency. And of course, Mr. Farley Augustine, he's the Chief Secretary of, for all intents and purposes, there in Trinidad and there in Tobago, especially. He's the head of government there in Tobago. And like how we have PPP and PNC, that is the UNC and the PNM in Trinidad and Tobago. Farley Augustine is from a party like the AFC. He's from a third party. And they won those elections there in Tobago. There's only left for Tobago's seat from the union there in Trinidad and Tobago. They're different there in Tobago. And I had a chance to meet and chat with this very gentleman here when I went to Tobago looking at that oil spill early on in the year. I had a chance to meet with him. He was very, very gracious and very, very accommodating. I'll always remember that. I intend to talk with him again, do a follow-up on that oil spill and what has happened since then, and perhaps even on crime, because we share so many similarities. I remember that closed down Canoe Bay. This is canoe as in the boats our indigenous brothers use, or anybody else. Canoe and bay, B-A-Y, Canoe Bay, but when you call it fast, it might sound different. They had locked down because that was the hardest, that was ground zero, where they had the ship capsized there, the tug, the barge, whatever you call it, capsized in Canoe Bay, and they weren't allowing anybody to go in there, not even journalists. And I remember when we spoke initially, he said, if you want to go, I can make sure you have the clearance. And so said, so done. It was just me and the folks who were monitoring Canoe Bay in that area there. And they said to me, you can go anywhere. The chief secretary, the head of government in Tobago, he's given clearance for you. You can go anywhere. And when I was finished, I spent about an hour documenting, talking with them, taking photographs, still shots and the drone shots and so on. I spent an hour about doing that. And then when I was finished with that, I spent about 2 hours on my own. I know they probably got beautiful places, other beautiful places in this world. But I've said this before here, Gwyneth and Gail and Isabella, that even oil soaked, even oil soiled, that beach at Canoe Bay was like the ninth wonder of the world. It was so magnificent. And being in that vast expanse of ocean, Caribbean Sea, it was so serene. And it's just, I left the folks who were monitoring, and I walked about 3 or 4 miles from them, just alone with my thoughts, listening to that water lapping against the shore there. That felt like as close to heaven as you could come. Just endless blue sea before you, an endless shoreline. I mean, some of it badly stained, as I said. And that for me was heaven. Right there, being alone with your thoughts and just feel like you could shout if you want, shout, scream, sing a song, backflip. And that's why I said I'd always remember his generosity and allowing me that kind of leverage to go and see what was happening there. Yeah. 3 dead, shot to death in Tobago. And the chief secretary says here, we got to get aggressive with crime. We have to get aggressive with crime because this is like shocking for Tobago. Because remember, Tobago is tourism. And folks, as I'm here, you know I always advocate for us to visit more places locally. Let me just clear the part. I always advocate that Guyana has a lot of beautiful places to see that we haven't seen, and all we do is walk and dead. This is how we know in this country. We work hard and we dead. Full stop. If you go to Trinidad, it's $60 by flight to go to Tobago. It's about 20 minutes flying. You can go also by boat as well, by ferry. I've never tried that. $60 is the Caribbean Airlines flight from Trinidad to Tobago. It's about 20 minutes flying. And you're in Tobago. Right? Y'all don't just walk on dead. Don't let us do it. Don't let me just walk on dead. Please. Even if it's locally, they got a lot of tour operators doing a lot of tours locally. I did an island hopping with my wife. We went to Hog Island and Slot Island. We went to the one that they have, the ROI resort. We went there as well. Our part of a tour, you pay about $22,000, $23,000 a person. And for a whole day, you get a nice time. So you do about 3 or 4 island hopping right in your own country. And they walk you around and explain. Fort Island was another place that we went to. And then they organized lunch. All as part of the package, you know. And ROI. Right? And my wife and I, we got our own team song from Dirty Dancing. I had the time of my life. And I owe it all to you. She always says that to me. Or as I say that to her. Somebody say to somebody, I had the time of my life. And I owe it all to you. And when we got to ROI, beautiful island too, looking out in the Essequibo River, I think it is. And we went to the edge of the beach and we put on a little team song by ourselves on the phone. And if you see her and I dancing up, I had time of my... If you make your marriage and your relationship happy and saucy, no, I can do it for you, you know. Nobody can do it for you. So we went to the edge and we did a little dance. That's our own little ritual, any place we go having a good time. You know? If I want to really score some points, I put on the song and point scoring. Oh no. We talked about how, this first hurricane for the hurricane season, strongest too, in a long while, Category 5, did all this damage from Trinidad to Texas. And now Caribbean businesses, the Caribbean economy bracing for some setbacks here. I saw them saying, they had this plan for to have the regional imports by 2025. I think that's what they were aiming for. And I see them saying this is no longer going to be possible thanks to Hurricane Beryl. So a lot of countries counting the damages. Look what happened in Grenada and Caracou there. In Grenada and other places. Now, these are the main staple on these islands. Tourism. There is so much to see. Just in the region, I hear about Martinique and Petit Martinique and all of these French territories right in the Caribbean. We never see them yet. And look. Commissioner Cole, Vashti and Isabella Leslin. Don't let me get bogged down every day with the politics that we can't move. Don't let's get bogged down with it every single day. And that is why I've said that I'm going to be taking the last week off in this month, first week in August, just spending time with your family. That's what matters, That's what we spent some time talking about last week. In the midst of all the politics, let's spend some time with your kids. Spend some time with your spouse. Because what's the sense? The whole country got you 24/7. Your wife ain't seen you often. Your children don't know you. So for me, it's a balance. It's a balance. It's a delicate balance too. The Caribbean braces for an economic punch after the season's first deadly hurricane. And then we come in the 592 Hazel, John Jones. We come in the 592. I heard the voice president talking yesterday about competition from Chinese businesses, and I think we all saw somebody put together the rise of Chinese supermarkets in this country and how it rivals, local shops and so on. Listen to some of what your vice president said recently. And then I'm going to come back on the other side and offer some thoughts on it. Your vice president.
There is a contention that the Chinese businesses are killing local stores. Vice President Parajagir says that Guyanese are encouraging this position.
We're an open country now, and we cannot promote that. However, people who come here to invest, they have to comply with our laws. So you do have a lot of this. But when you go to the communities, I see the Chinese go there, and the people who are renting them these facilities to establish the mom and pop shop are Guyanese too.
There is also the contention that the Chinese don't pay taxes.
I see tax evasion on both sides, because we've been looking at the Chinese to see what in tax evasion, and GRA has to enforce this more, like do things on them, not just Chinese, but more so because there's been a complaint against Chinese that they are complying with our laws, paying the VAT, etc. So I can sympathize with people.
He said that competition is seeing the Chinese selling the same goods for half the price of the Guyanese charge.
If there is the Chinese are using the system unfairly against our local businessmen, then we have a duty as a government to level the playing field. GRA and all the tax authorities, we must do so, because we can't allow foreigners to come here and outcompete our people in an unfair way.
There is a contention.
That's what's happening on the outside there, apologies. That's what's happening. You know, government still got a huge role in terms of enforcing the laws out there. We got some laws on the book. You know, for instance, you got zoning, right? And in some areas, depends on the zone you're in, you can't have 3 and 4 rum shops, right? You can't have 3 and 4 casinos. If you got it at a business district, that's not a residential area anymore. That's why the folks in Sobrianville and so on were crying out recently. You know, you can now drive right from Conversation Tree right through to Duncan Street and come even farther. Right? They've broadened that road now, thankfully. Right? But in doing so, there's more traffic going behind there now. And some folks who had homes there, peaceful and tranquil, got to contend with a lot of traffic. And me, you got to contend with me coming through them around them because I tend to avoid Sheriff Street by any means necessary. So I take the turn when I'm coming along the East Coast off the East Coast Highway there into Conversation Tree corner there, and I come straight down to Duncan Street and try to come out to the back as close to the Lamaha Canal, Lamaha Reservoir there as possible, and avoid all these stoplights and major traffic on Sheriff Street. But the people cry out there now because all this traffic now has pierced the tranquility of the community. Now it's the same thing with a whole host of shops. You're talking that business district now. Right? I think if you got between 2 corners, a supermarket for instance, there should be something that says, look, if between the other 2 streets you got a supermarket, you could go sell. Right? Could you imagine? I got a brother from another mother with a supermarket. Right next to he have 4 more. I have nothing against Chinese businesses. I tell you, I have a whole family history. My great-grandfather came from Hong Kong. Great-grandmother was a hot girl. Y'all know the whole thing. Right? But if I'm here, I'm contributing to the community for how many ever years, 4 businesses come next to me, bam, bam, bam. You think you appreciate what's going to happen there, right? And that's why I said, I pass a lot of places and go and decide where I'm spending my money. I pass a lot of places and I decide where I'm spending my hard-earned money. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Because if the government is concerned how you getting by and how you making it, right? I can be concerned about my spending power. That's what I can be concerned about. So there's this argument out there that the leader of the Alliance for Change got a conflict of interest with his client, ExxonMobil. We saw Alastair Rutledge, president of ExxonMobil Guyana, come out yesterday and say there's no conflict of interest. There's no conflict of interest. It's quite interesting. Because I've been following, for instance, GHK Lal's position on this. And GHK Lal says he likes youth. He thinks that Nigeria has something to offer this country, this critical moment in our nation's history. He has something to offer. But the sticking point for him is this relationship with Exxon. He has said, this is GHK Lal, the writer and author, commentator, and all the other caps he wears. He said for him that Hughes would have to cut ties with his client. He'd have to sacrifice that relationship for the greater good of not appearing to have a conflict of interest or being in bed, being in the pockets of ExxonMobil. That's what GHK Lal says. So Rutledge came out yesterday and said, He doesn't see a conflict of interest between his attorney, Nigel Hughes, being now the leader of the Alliance for Change. And interestingly enough, I saw GKH Lal today. You can read this is in one of the papers, if not all of them. GKH Lal says that the public statement by Rutledge is a nuanced endorsement for Nigel Hughes. Now, this is problematic. That view of it is very problematic. And part of what GHK Lal says is, well, Rutledge had to say something. He had to say nothing. This thing would have worked itself out. But by him coming out now and making these assertions, right? I mean, I don't know if a client go on incriminate the lawyer now. So yes, he does have a conflict of interest. I don't know if a client would want to do that. But GHK Lal is saying that this is a nuanced endorsement. And I think for Lal, this is very, very problematic. He says that Rutledge's statement is more, or unless I'm paraphrasing it, pro-Nigel, rather than assuming the risk of meddling. So these are things that are out there today. As we started there, we think you ought to have a look at. And I've heard rather Dr. Vince Adams talking about this one here. Ad nauseum. Hope Charles Ramson watching, he seems to like Latin phrases. Ad nauseum. Is ad nauseum Latin? Could be French or Spanish for all I know. Guyana bolsters oil spill response with state-of-the-art capping stack. I think this is if you have a well going out of commission, or you have for the one of a better phrase, you know, the pipe bust. This is the plug for it. This is the plug they would use. If my engagements with with Dr. Vince Adams is worth anything, this is what they call it, capping stack. This is like the plug on the champagne bottle or the wine bottle. And keeping the thing inside. And he's been promoting this, that we have this capping stack for the longest while. So they're saying that they have it now, and I saw a lot of them pose up on the capping stack. We spoke about this, gazetted order to change the composition of the University of Guyana. But 2 other bills were passed yesterday as well. The criminal law procedure bill, which says that they no longer have the paper committal process has changed. And we'll have some clarity on these issues, but I just wanted to make sure you have a sense of what other things transpired in the National Assembly yesterday. And the Fugitive Offenders Amendment bill was passed too. Now this is where they can try for now rein in people like Melissa Atwell, Melly Mel, rein in people like Benchcup, rein in people like Rickford Burke. This is the sadistic aim of this Fugitive Offenders Amendment Bill. There's now an act passed yesterday. Amendments to the act passed yesterday. And we are going to circle back to some of these in other broadcasts and drill down what it really means. Because they basically said it yesterday. They want to go after these folks. That's what they're aiming to do. In morning papers, it said G.H. Lal had some submissions today on that issue of the conflict of interest. Basically saying Rutledge should keep his mouth shut and let this thing just die a natural death. Who has a conflict of interest or don't have a conflict of interest. But here running now, in this morning's paper, someone is writing there, he said, Asha still in the National Assembly? Asha Kisoon, who came in with the Joiner Party. Asha is from the New Movement, TNM. Came in with Anu and came in with Liberty and Justice Party, Schumann and Ralph Ramkaran, and Dr. Ashley Kissoon was to spend 2 months, if so long, in the National Assembly. She's probably there but 3 years now. Refusing to relinquish his seat. I should say, I work here still for do. Yeah, I think it's just her. That's what Ashley said. I still got work here to do. Like the writer says, what Ashley still doing in the Parliament? And so Ashley going about her business very stately. Like nothing bothering she. Ashley can't find it. Follow no trench here, you know. Ashley minding her own business. Don't think Ashley gonna follow no trench here. Ashley looking where she going. Very stately. Very serene. Good morning, Mr. Duncan. Like all is well with the world. For Ashley, everything normal. Anton Nicholson's everything right. Asher right, says Anton. Coral Providence said the squatter Asher. Irvin Down said Asher working with the PPP. Coral said Asher the squatter. Asher the squatter. Yeah, for a lot of people it's very jarring, even though there is nothing that compels by law that she leaves the National Assembly. But when you shake a man's hand, oh! When you shake a man's hand, Trevor McDonald, Wendell Hudson, that should mean something. You see, when you're dealing with some people, you think it's proper people you're dealing with, you mightn't go and do an agreement and sign and say, you know, on my honor and integrity, I do here sign. And this makes it bad for a lot of people. You know, you gotta run in with Asher. This can affect your trust in a lot of people. You gotta deal with Asher. You going home vexed with your spouse now. It's been wait so long. I tell me you're going by your friend for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, now you come in here. You done suspicious everybody else too. Because you had one run with Asher. You make it bad for a lot of people. Naomi Drugger says, Asher is my spirit animal. His side is walking and take over. Nobody would doubt you, Naomi. Naomi said, Asher is my spirit animal. His side is walking and take over. Asher refused to move. Normal, you know. Well dressed. Asher ain't even walking. Round the garden in Everett, Asher gliding through. And Asher said, very stately and regal. Deputized with the speaker even yesterday. When we put this out, a lot of you doubting us, like doubting Thomas. Why standest thou far off and look? The morning it happened, we don't know all of it as yet, but our contacts, credible sources in the deep state, our intelligence in the deep state, say one gun. That's what the umpires do. One gun. Lift my hand high. I want you to see it. One gun. That's what they told us. The minute it happened. One gun. And we told you, Prema Prasad, that's her name, and resigned from the Ministry of Social Service with immediate effect. Human Services and Social Security with immediate effect. Prema Rupnarayan. This is Starbuck News reporting that the ministry has been mum on the reasons why Prema Rupnarayan or Prema Rupnarayan, forgive me Prema for calling it wrong. Forgive me also, Prema Rupnarayan is the husband of What's her husband's name? Some of y'all know it. He's Deep State PPP. Deep State PPP. One gone. Now when Prima, you know some folks had already signed a letter that vineyards across. Y'all remember that? Now y'all might put this down to Zapnu people. Coral and Vernon. You might have put that down to Zapnu people that don't like Prima. Again, this is Starbuck News now reporting on this, that the ministry has been. No, Prima is not Apnu. I see Elizabeth say, I wonder if she was forced out. Well, Arvindan know the whole thing. Arvindan says, Romel Rupnarayan's wife. Let me know Romel Rupnarayan, you know this is Deep State PPP now. You know, some people it's convert to PPP. He was born PPP. To tell how deep he is. So he ain't gonna marry somebody who like PPP. Tangential. Call it right. PPP. Who has had a fleeting experience. She got me deep too. Well, if she running from Vindia, you must know what happened in here. If the PPP, running from the PPP. Preman said, listen to this. Preman said serving out the month. You hear me? Preman said serving out the month and catch the little hand as some of you always do. Preman said going on vacation. And I ain't going back. I can send him a resignation when the vacation finish. Like some of y'all are want to do. Prima says, I'm so fed up of India Prasad. I am so fed up of this nonsense here. I am going with immediate effect. Immediate effect. Whatever money I would have gotten if I stayed on for the rest of the month, if I take my vacation leave now, I go for good. When somebody is willing to say this thing ain't worth my sanity, it ain't worth all the ginkgo biloba in the world. Or Zeb Grass. Where's your Zeb Grass? I'm just calling names right now. It ain't worth all the money in the world. I got no. I can't wait. I want to Prima see some sanctions coming down. I want to know what Prima know. But I hear is a lot. When you all people say, I'm going with immediate effect. Immediate effect. I ain't waiting. Immediate effect. Sabak News said they have reached out to the government to ascertain the reasons behind Prima Rupnarayan leaving the work. Silence. Silence. That tells you everything. See how long you them bluffing? You all know we them bluffing. Now some of these memes, mimes, however you call it, they create themselves, they write themselves. High-ranking public servants must be accountable to the citizens. Under no AFC, not under PPP. If high-ranking public officials are accountable to the citizens, how come we haven't heard officially that Prima Rupnarayan has resigned? How come we haven't heard officially the reasons behind Prima Rupnarayan's resignation? If, as Gail Teixeira recently told a confab, that high-ranking government officials are accountable to the citizens, how come? These many days later, we don't have a clear picture of what were the circumstances surrounding why Permanent Secretary Prema Rupnarayan demitted office with such urgency. How come we don't know that? But this is for some people. This is for some people. Could you imagine? Government just take over UG. There's a proposal to change the composition that has now made its way into a bill that's now legal. The hostile takeover is legal. The PPP gazetted that order. And then the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Ms. Hussein Autar, Hussein Autar, sent an email to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana and said, take us notice. We're coming for you. We're coming for y'all. Imagine a high-ranking official of the University of Guyana got be notified like that. The minister even got the decency, even got the integrity to have had a meeting with UG, the Vice Chancellor, nobody. But like thieves in the night, late into last evening, well, the evening before rather, they had that hostile takeover of the university. Under the PPP, high-ranking public servants not accountable to the citizens. They are most certainly not. So she blowing hot air there. And as I said, that is what she told Confab yesterday. That's what she told them. There was a meeting of, I think, members of the Public Accounts Committee and some other stakeholders, some other ministries on accountability in the public sector, something of that nature. But that's only lip service. You and I know that. This is interesting when we saw this headline. VP Jagrio launches road rehabilitation project. This is not the government of Guyana. It's not the Minister of Works, the Bishop. This is Jagrio. He launched a road project in response to Region 2 residents' request. Now, I thought, I might be a little backward and slow, but I thought this is how budgeting is done, for instance. This is how the rehabilitation of a road makes its way into a budget. Mind you, we had a budget pass February, March of this year. But this road wasn't captured in it, Marlon Lorimer. He went and launched the project himself. He said, I can make sure you have the money fit. You don't worry. And a number of projects are undertaken in the same fashion. You never hear about it in the budget. Never. On the spot. So how budgeting is being done in this country, man? Why we wait 3 times for 10 days? And then they can come now, sometime early next month, and ask you to approve supplemental budget. Ask you to acquiesce to a supplemental budget so they can cover this extra spending now. So while the budget was 1 point something trillion, by the time they really finished writing about $3 trillion with all this, he just walked out and said, all right, I can take over this road here now. We just take over you. What you mean take over this road here now? How is budgeting being done in a responsible manner in this country? You know? But like he passed this bridge in Good Hope Mahika. There's a letter in the morning papers. Assisting her write a letter saying the main access bridge at Good Hope Mahika in a bad state. Which begs the question again, even at the NDC level, is budgeting being done? You have to have such a breakdown at the local level that the citizens feel there's no other respite, right? Because if, for instance, the councillors here in the Good Hope Mahika area are on the ground as they should be, then this is going to make its way into the budget of the NDCE. If it's a minor road, and that's one that they take care of. If it's a major road, it's going to find its way in the work program of the government. A citizen has to feel there's no other recourse at the local level, that they have to write a letter to the editor to get a bridge, mail access bridge, he said, fixed. You understand the kind of dysfunction? Residents got to approach the vice president in person and say, how fix him? How much malum you put on you before you fix the bridge here? Fix the road here? Well, the old fisherman say meets Good Hope Mahika yet. So their bridge still languishing. It haven't me there yet. Now what's happening? The guys have a Caribbean Investment Forum that is on from today. They are focused on everything else than what they're supposed to be focused on. Everything else. So the event is being hosted by the Caribbean Export Development Agency and will feature discussions on sustainable investment strategies. All well and good. But how do we fix this bridge in Good Hope Mahika, man? The agenda includes sustainable agriculture, transition to a green economy, digitalization of business. Can we fix this little bridge in the meantime, though? These conferences cost us millions of dollars as a country. That bridge must be a little 500,000 to fix. I don't know. Can we fix the people bridge there? Good Hope Mahika. Lady went to visit a spouse, a relative, one of the prisons, but she didn't like, she didn't value her freedom. She didn't value her freedom. See, she went to the Matsaruni prison. 55 years old, you know, she's big. She's seasoned. Right? She said she had taken, the report said she had taken some items for her son, Bevan Thomas. You understand how Bevan meet me there? And she tried to smuggle a SIM card into her son in a toothpaste tube. You understand why Bevan there be there? Bevan mother, who's supposed to be an example for him, put this SIM card, conceal it in a tube of toothpaste to avoid detection during the standard security checks. And the toothpaste. Well, the Guyana Prison Service is reminding us about the severe risks associated with contraband smuggling. They say such activities not only a danger to the safety of the inmates, but officers can be compromised, and the prison system by extension. So the mother smuggling contraband in for the son and being made to understand that she can go do some prison time now. She can go do some jail time now. That's what they're telling us. 30 days or 30 months, something of that nature. 55 years old. Not setting the example. That's why they say maturity is not age, you know. You ever heard that? Not because you're big, you got sense. Not because you're big, you got sense. It's not everybody. Remember that GBTI compound robbery? Businessman said he was going to make a drop off in the compound of GBTI in Kingston, they said. when bandits pounced on him. Remember, they were dressed as policemen? That's one of the things I think to let his guard, and they were dressed as policemen. Dressed as policemen. Quite recently, Paul Slow addressed this whole matter of policemen as some policemen as masterminds in these criminal enterprise. Shocking where we have gone in a couple months. In a few short years, it's shocking how far we've slipped. Paul Slow.
Former chairman of the Police Service Commission, Paul Slow, is concerned with the level of corruption in the Guyana police force. On the program Speaking Out, he said that policemen are openly involved in criminal activities. One involved a $10 million robbery on a businessman at the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry.
That this compound that they're talking about adjoins the police headquarters, yeah? If you know Georgetown, it's on the police headquarters right down to the west after TSU is the DBTI compound, opposite Pegasus, opposite what used to be the Canadian High Commission and all that. The suspects are said to be two identifiable males who were fully dressed in police blue and black uniforms, both armed with pistols and wearing ski masks.
He said that the report of policemen conducting robberies is damning. The victim denied that the men were wearing ski masks.
An incident like this would cause people not to trust the police to escort them. An incident of this nature, right? So, look, let me understand this thing clearly. We are in a serious security crisis in the country. And unless and until the government admits, which clearly they would not do, proper methods are not going to be put in place to arrest. They are like the proverbial ostrich. They bury their heads in the sand.
The Police Public Relations Department stated that one suspect is in custody assisting detectives with the ongoing investigation. This robbery occurred on July 3rd. Investigators also recovered some of the stolen money, according to the Police Public Relations Department. Police are still to arrest several other persons in connection with the robbery. This person arrested is said to be a civilian.
Allegation that a police sergeant at West Demerara is the mastermind behind a series of break-ins. Allegation from a businessman that is depositing $10 million and is robbed by policemen, it's the claim, or at least men dressed in police uniform. These things are very, very worrying.
Flo said that something has to be wrong when people can be so bold. He said that a check would reveal that the sergeant, as a constable, was transferred from West Demerara for allegations of corruption. Political intervention saw the rank return to the West Demerara.
Yeah. Sad state of affairs. I'm certain you would agree. Very sad state of affairs. And as you heard there, one person arrested, and they said they've recovered $1 million. Yep. And I think there was $10 million that was taken from that gentleman, that executive, from that distributor, from that distribution company. $10 million taken. They said they've recovered $1 million, and one person in police custody attending to helping with investigations. And on a sad note, folks, an even sadder note, yesterday, a 14-year-old boy lost his life at the aquatic center. 14 years old. Died at the aquatic center. He was part of a Learn to Swim program. He was a young man out of the Sophia child care facility there. They would go ever so often to be part of these programs. And I don't know. Sometimes I think life itself has it out for you. Remember we started the program by talking about, here we come, good. Sometimes life itself seems to have it out for you. Here is this child in the care of the state. Vindhya Prasad, Charles Ramson, all the names calling this morning. In the care of the state. And then tragedy struck. They said there were about 60 children there with the instructors, about 60 kids with the instructors there. And according to one report that I read, they said the whistle blew, which signaled for the kids to come out of the water. Joel Adams, this 14-year-old, and his other contemporaries. He's a child from the Sophia Care Center in Dennis Street. That horn, that whistle, they should come out. For all intents and purposes, it didn't look, at least from the report, initial report, that the kids were unattended by adults. And I've had calls already that says that more adults are needed in this program, and they've called for more adult supervision with the necessary skills to attend such an activity as teaching people to learn to swim. In this particular swim program, caters for kids 11 to 18. He's right in the middle there at 14. And they said the kids were making their way out, reports, when Joel ran back and backflipped off of this springboard. And that he went under the water. One of the folks supervising went in after him, pulled him out, did CPR on him, and then he was transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, where he was pronounced dead. It's a sad story on every level, because you're already coming out of a family that clearly got some kind of a dysfunction there, that you end up in state care at the Sophia Care Center. That's one thing to have to grapple with at 14. And then from that care center, you're in another situation where adults have a duty of care in a swimming environment, in an environment where there's water and kids. And then tragedy strikes. Something is missing here. If a child goes over and under and somebody jumps in after them and pulls them out, you know, I think personally there's still a little time. But the fact that he was unconscious by the time he was pulled out, if it happened like that, they saw him taking this backflip, saw him go overboard, went in after him, pulled him out. He's already unconscious to the point where CPR has to be performed. I don't know all of it. That's why we can be doing our own digging here, our own investigation here. Can't just say Joel, no, you know, was from the Sophia Care Center, so he a matter. He done dead, you know. What are you going to do about it? No. Too many kids are dying in state care. And our minds go right back to Madia. Right back to Madia. 20 of our kids died in that Madia secondary school, female dormitory. Now they had a fire at this place just the other day, you know, in the vicinity of the same child care center in Sophia. There was a fire there recently. They said something left plug-in overheated. That's why I said sometimes like life just after you itself. They escaped that. And now at the aquatic center, Joel Adams lost his life. I hope there's a full and thorough investigation. 14 years old. 14 years old. Not a child we lose in state care. Yet another child. We're going to leave it there this morning, folks. A couple of things we think you ought to know about as we start. As we start today. A couple of things. Share the like before you go. Smash that emoji button for us. We're going to see you guys on the next podcast. Pray for his families, relatives, whoever they are, wherever they are. And that's why the poet Don John says, every man's death diminishes me, whether in state care, at Sophia Care Center, wherever they are, they're from families that can manage them. Every man's death diminishes me. Yeah, pray for this country too. We're going to see you guys in the next one. That's our time this morning, folks, and that's our broadcast. Stay safe, each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. Bellamona, Neville, and Brenda, Linden and Gisela, Edward and Sonia. Sonia Marseille. How are you doing, Sonia? Good to see you on the live. Colette and Sandra Hanover, Shelley DeRed and Maxine Monroe. Have a fantastic rest of the day.